Hi, I'm still in Joshua 5 today, in Joshua chapter 5, verse 9. This is right after Joshua had recircumcised all of the people, and they remained in the camp there until they had recovered from the circumcision. And here's verse 9. Adonai said to Joshua, "This day I have rolled away the reproach of Egypt from you." The name of that place has been called Gilgal to this day. What does it mean that God rolled away the reproach of Egypt? And what does that have to do with the name Gilgal? First off, the reproach of Egypt is not idolatry or sin or something like that they brought out of Egypt. The reproach of Egypt was the state of slavery. Slavery is a shameful state to be in. It's not something that anybody should desire, at least not slavery to another man or a nation. And so an entire nation of people being enslaved to another is a shame to them. Now, Abraham had been a wealthy, powerful man wandering across land that God had promised to give him. And God had promised that his descendants would be slaves in Egypt for 400 years. Or they would be wanderers in a foreign land and oppressed for 400 years. And for much of that time, they were slaves in Egypt. So they had gone from free, wealthy Abraham to slavery in Egypt, to wandering in the wilderness, homeless, and finally across the Jericho into the inheritance that God had promised them. The word Gilgal it refers to a wheel, or the turning of a wheel. And here they had come a full circle, from Canaan to the wilderness, to Egypt, to the wilderness, and back to Canaan. God had brought them back to the inheritance that he had promised Abraham. And not only had he brought them back, what he had only promised to give to Abraham, he was now giving to Abraham's descendants. He was removing the taint of slavery and making them free. He had refined them for 40 years of trials in the wilderness. They had conquered giants and armies greater and stronger than they were through the power of God. Now they had crossed the river, they had defeated one enemy, and they were preparing to defeat Jericho, one of the strongest, most heavily defended cities in the region. And there was no doubt in their minds that they were going to succeed, because God had not only redeemed and refined them, but he had made them conquerors and proved it because of their trust in him and their faithful obedience to his commands. God was faithful to them in return. This is Jay Carper from American Torah. Be blessed.